And now, welcome to the Great Cigar and Pipe Show. Presented by Hiram and Solomon Cigars, the Oliva Cigar family, and the Newman Cigar Company. Coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Great Cigar and Podcast Show. I like that podcast. You guys got that? Right off the bat, I had to throw that in there. Anyway, welcome. We've got Kyle. I got Kyle going. I know. It's good. But next to me, everybody, look at this. Our very own Joey G's hanging out.
Cheers.
And we got a wonderful show tonight. Got lots of guests. A lot of people coming on. And we're pretty excited about it. But also, on a serious note, we have lost one of our brothers this past week. And I think Frank has a little something here that maybe you want to put in his honor. Did he come up with anything there, Frank?
Before that, I'm just going to say that our hearts go out to the Reith family with the recent loss of Bradley Reith. He was a major influence on my ability to write about cigars. When I first started writing about cigars back in 2021, I had a lot of knowledge about the whiskey side, but basically no knowledge on the cigar side. And I found Bradley and his trusted partner Justin JB Barnett on YouTube, and I learned from these guys. And you can see in my writing, I literally used tactics and words that Bradley would use, like the purge or letting your ash fall off with dignity. But we all learned something valuable from Bradley, whether it was about cigars, spirituality, about being a man. He is greatly missed. I've cried many times over his loss while smoking cigars. And our hearts go out to his family. We have a short video presentation for Bradley.
We're smoking these cigars, and we're talking about an important detail. I think it's important for all of us to discuss, but we're talking about death and how men deal with death. When death knocks, and it's going to knock for all of us, and we're all going to lose people, how you deal with death as a man can impact greatly those people around you, and to be emotionally available, emotionally mature, and strategic about your grief as a man can really go a long way in serving the people around you. Just talking about it's got you got bags under your eyes, man.
Well, yeah. But but I know where that grandpa is spiritually,
right?
And I know where he is in his life. Like that's the grandpa that's like you, bro. That's like, if I die coming home from church, at least I went to church Sunday.
Right.
And you're like, if I die on my motorcycle, at least I die with a full heart, bro.
Exactly.
So and that's kind of his mentality.
Now, keep this in mind. Just because somebody passes, and it says this in the Bible, it says we don't grieve as those people who don't have hope. We do have hope. I believe he's with Jesus. I believe he's in heaven, and finally his faith is made sight, if you would, as it says in scriptures. And I'm very, very, very excited about that. But there's a very big hole that it leaves when you know somebody's no longer here on this earth. Make sure you have a good theological outlook on what happens when you die. That the person that you know is not necessarily here anymore, and they're not in this bodily form, but they're with the Lord, or they're with the, they've gone on to their reward, particularly if they've had faith in Christ. For the Cut Light and Smoke podcast, I've been Bradley. He's been JB. You're out of here like last year. Peace.
And to piggyback off that awesome video, thank you, Frank, for that. I'm extremely grateful for the willingness of Justin Burnett to step up and comfort us in the cigar industry, all his friends and family, explaining that Bradley died exactly the way he wanted to, on his motorcycle with a full heart, smile on his face. Sorry. And his hair on fire. And he got his biggest wish, which was to meet and be with Jesus. So, Bradley, cheers to you. Your legacy is going to live on in the cigar industry and beyond. Thank you for everything.
Brad. Thank
Cheers,
you.
Brad. Love you, buddy.
Okay, so for the show tonight, we are going to have an excellent show. We're going to have some fun. We have Stefan Lampert of Lampert Cigars, and we're going to be featuring this is the Edition 1675 Morado in his Robusto size. We're going to have Dave Schmier from Wooden Proof. He is the owner and the blender. We'll be featuring his cabinet, barrel proof American whiskey. And then we have in celebration of Whiskey Network's 4-year anniversary, I have some support coming on board. One of our staff writers, Vicki Higginson, she does our cocktail section. She's going to help us out, give us some more perspective on the pairing. So we got a lot going on tonight, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, no, Joey, again, thank you very much for that heartfelt intro. We've had Brad and Justin on the show twice, and they were great guests. Yes. And just going over Brad's podcast and just listening to that podcast alone really was very emotional for me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so absolutely.
I get it.
And there's 2 articles up, one on Bradley's Double Down cigar, and oddly enough, the last cigar I did was the Twisted Fate cigar from Zeal Cigars, and that's also up on whiskeynetwork.com or .net if you get a chance to review those articles. They're they're excellent articles to learn about what the real deal Zeal Cigars is all about.
And talking about that, folks can maybe support the family. Go to Zeal Cigars and order your Zeal cigars. They are fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are very inexpensive in the cigar industry. Yeah. You're going to really, really appreciate what he's done. They're fabulous. So support the family and their needs. And this also, if you go on there, you'll be able to find out the information for everybody who's in the Arizona area for his wake and all. And anything you want to contribute is right there. Go for it.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, our guests will be with us. Great cigars take time. The Fortaleza Libre story began in 2013 with the idea of starting a brand of cigars that would exemplify the strength and freedom that define America. Our premium cigar voyage for quality and taste led us to the Dominican Republic and the tobacco fields of Santiago and Tamboril. Tabacalera El Joyito would become a trusted partner. And in 2019, our smoking strong and living free journey was realized with the arrival to our shores of the Fuerte Libre Bodacious. Fast forward 5 years, 2024, Fuerte El Libre rebrands to Fortaleza El Libre. Same meaning, strong and free. Our portfolio has grown to 6 core lines to satisfy the palates of cigar smokers worldwide. For more information, visit our website at fylcigars.com. Smoke strong, live free. Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, a boutique cigar company that artfully blends and creates some of the finest handmade puros from the Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic. We are 4th-generation manufacturers and growers of tobacco with over 140 years of experience, offering a variety of styles, blends, and strengths. Mild, medium plus, and full-bodied. We would truly consider it an honor for you to experience our cigars. Those who know smoke GTO.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Years in the making, the Chief cigar was born, blended, boxed, and released to market on June 26, 2015. This cigar was developed by former fire chief, firefighter, cigar aficionado Ken Dorbecker, and has grown into a signature Firehouse cigar line.
All engines respond.
Including, of course, the Chief, a Nicaraguan Habano blend, Proby, a Connecticut Shade blend, All Hands, a Maduro Mexican San Andreas box press, and the brand new Fire Pole, a beautifully crafted San Andreas Habano barber pole. Join the Chief family and make us part of your humidor. R&A Treasures, out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs.
And we're back.
We are back.
We are
folks.
back.
All righty.
All right, let's bring our guests on board.
You got it. Let's bring
All
them on.
right, that's Stefan Lampert right there, the man. He's on his personal cruise ship. It's on his personal balcony.
Look how dark it got in the last half hour.
There's Dave Schmier. He's the owner and blender for Wood and Proof.
Proof and Wood.
And Proof
and Wood. Yeah,
Proof
that's
and
okay.
Wood.
Joe's a bit dyslexic.
Yeah, I'm drunk. Then we have Vicki Higginson. She is our staff writer for Whiskey Network Magazine. Welcome aboard, everybody.
Welcome
Wow.
and thank you for
Get a
joining
round
us
of
tonight.
applause for everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
First things first, right out of the gate, Stefan, beautiful cigar. Well constructed, very unique flavor profile. Dave, for being the first cheers drink to Brad, he would be very delighted for what we're drinking tonight.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's a big bourbon guy.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you very, very,
Very
much.
nice.
What a wonderful blended. Oh, this is fantastic.
Nice pairing. Once again, Joey.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
So we'll go right to Stefan real quick. Stefan, can you tell us how you got into the cigar industry and about your company?
Sure. So first of all, thank you very much for hosting me. It's always great to be around cigar aficionados, and of course your channel. I love it. How I got into it, I just got into it like I wouldn't say by accident, as a hobby. My main profession is a lawyer. I have a law office in Austria, Vienna, not Australia, so it's important. No kangaroos. Yeah, okay to get confused, Yeah. So in my law office, I love to smoke cigars, and I started like making private blends, my private blend for my clients when they come into my law office. This is just a private project for myself, and my clients keep calling me, "Hey man, we want to buy your stuff." And I said, "No, it's my private blend. It's not for selling." And at a certain point, an Austrian distributor reached out to me in an event, said, "Hey man, we want to bring you into the country." And I said, I have no idea how that works. I just have a small private blend, 1,000 cigars. That's it. And he said, "No, I will help you. We really want to bring you into the European market." I said, "Yeah, cool. Okay." I talked to the factory. The factory connected with the importer for all the paperwork, because at the beginning I had no clue how that works.
Right.
And yeah, we launched in Austria, and once we launched, the demand was like massive. I didn't expect that. So other countries started reaching out in the region, like Germany, Switzerland, Hungary. They started reaching out, "Hey, we want to bring in your product." And I said, "Wow, it's awesome." I didn't have a warehouse at that time. And so then we started like exporting to these countries. And once we got like into 4 countries, the United States got also our attention because the media reached out. Hey, what's up with this cigar? Because I had no idea about it as a cigar media, or just my private project. And at some point, we just became bigger and bigger. And here I am now. That's basically in a nutshell.
Wow.
Huh.
So from that first blend, so when you went to actually blend the cigar for yourself privately, what was your knowledge base as far as cigars went? You just knew what you liked, because I'm assuming you smoked cigar prior.
Yeah, exactly. So I smoked cigars like prior. I did my private blend. What happened is I was in Thailand. I sometimes do vacation in Thailand during Christmas because I don't like the cold weather. As a big thunderstorm came, I was sitting on the balcony and I was really pissed because I couldn't, I escaped Europe, the cold weather, and it was raining like hell. And I was like, what the fuck I'm doing here? Like, I can't do anything. And
did you really say what the fuck?
Yeah, I was really angry because it was a pretty expensive vacation, but it was raining like hell. You couldn't go into the water, nothing. So I was smoking the balcony, different blends, and I started making notes. Like, okay, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. I like this. I like that. And then I had kind of like my portfolio, what I was looking for. And then I reached out to a factory. I traveled. My first factory was actually Costa Rica. I traveled to Costa Rica. I met Tabacos in Costa Rica, amazing guys. And I started like chatting with them. This is what I'm looking for. We started blending. And the first cigar came out, and a band was missing. And the production was ready. And I was like, okay, they come, hey, what band do you want to have on? I said, I have no idea. I started designing a band. Like, what's the name? I think I have no idea. Then I thought about it, and every time when I called the factory, the secretary answered, and I always heard, "Hey, Jefe, El Gringo is calling." I was like, okay, you know what? It's gonna be the name of my first cigar. They always call me Gringo. That was my first blend, yeah, Gringo. Yeah, that's how the name got born, because I was called Gringo. And started reordering, and I keep calling the secretary, and I got bigger, and she saw the numbers, and all of a sudden I was not the Gringo anymore. It was Don Patrones calling. So I got a new blend. It's like, wow. Oh, wow.
Which is
That's
also a great
nice.
cigar. Great cigar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joe loved that cigar. That was like
Oh
our second one. Was like, okay, wow.
Yeah.
I think I get some respect this record.
Yeah, that Don Patron made my top 5 last year for Cigar of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Good cigar. From the Oro line, right?
Oro line, exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And so at some point we started extending, like, okay, we have Costa Rica, amazing country. What are other what they do love to smoke? I said, okay, I have to do something in Nicaragua. Then when I started a blend in Nicaragua, because I always want to have, like, I love the Nicaraguan tobacco. I did one blend in Nicaragua called the Azul, and the Azul was like, wow, massive ratings, like 93 points, 92 points, all over the place. And got Cigar of the Month in Austria. And yeah, it just hit the market. And we kept growing and growing. Then the pandemic hit. And I was like, oh, damn, I think I can close my little business because the pandemic, everything is dead. No, people start smoking, like, instead of 1, 3. I was like, oh, wow, it's going up, actually. I was like, wow, pretty cool. I was like, okay, I have Costa Rica, I have Nicaragua. I want to do something in Dominican Republic. Yeah, reached out through my contacts that I met in the United States. They gave me some advice what factory I could work with, and I created a blend de Oscura in the Dominican Republic. And I was like, okay, wow, now I have a pretty good portfolio. I work in Costa Rica, different tobacco. I have Nicaragua, different tobacco. I have Dominican Republic, different tobacco. I think it's a pretty good portfolio. And so now we keep growing and growing. This is basically how everything started. As a small hobby, I should have done a bigger cigars because, as a lawyer, you charge the client. You smoke in the office and you charge the client by minutes, so I should have done a Salomon instead
Quite
of
a cigar, really.
Yes, yeah. You know,
when's
they
the
smoke.
Salomon coming out. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I was like, oh damn it was only a Robusto. I should have done a Salomon because then they spend 2 hours in my office. I can build them. I'm like, oh damn it. Oh,
So that's how
it's
it
just 1
works
hour to go.
inside that world.
Yes.
What year did you actually start?
I started 2018, 2017, 18.
Right.
And I opened the company in 2019 because 2018, 17 was only for my private consumption. But the company got established in 2019 out of Europe, and we made it to the States. So the opposite, because usually the brands go from the States to Europe. So we did the opposite.
Right. You did the opposite. That's very interesting.
And
Yeah,
it
you
worked
can
out.
find the cigars
What
right here in
countries in
Chicago at
Europe?
Norwood Royal Cigars too.
What countries in Europe can these cigars be found now?
So as of now, we're in around 30 countries.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we have Switzerland, we have the big ones, we have Germany, we have Hungary, we have Austria, we have Norway, Sweden, we have Hong Kong, we have the Middle East, we have Indonesia. Yeah, all over the place.
Wow. Now, you know, from what we hear, Cuban cigars were for, and probably still are, looked as in the European market as the go-to, as opposed to what I'll call a New World cigar, which are from the Dominican, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. So I think you probably set a precedent there in Europe because it wasn't the norm, right? I mean, I think you were probably one of the innovators, being part of the European countries to be able to produce this and actually get it out to market as quickly as you did, because you did that very quick,
Very fast.
very fast.
Yeah. You know, the people start realizing you can have a good smoke for a very fair price, because the Cubans were always like very expensive, and the Cubans, they still have like a little bit like not an open draw, very tight draw,
right?
Sometimes. And you know, I could show people, look, you have a great cigar, New World, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, it's a very good price. It's like $12 to $14, and you have a good, you just have a good smoke, you have a good experience, and people start realizing it. Oh, this is actually pretty good. And
Excellent. So you want to give us the rundown on this Robusto we got going on tonight?
Yeah. So tonight we are smoking the Edición Morado. This is made in, you see it. It's made in Nicaragua. It has a San Andres wrapper. It has a binder and filler from Nicaragua. It's our first Maduro. I wanted to make a Maduro cigar. I always wanted to make a Maduro, a cigar that has sweetness, is not too strong, and has still flavors. Because my goal was, because I have to think about it, not just sell in the States. I have to think about it. I have to sell it worldwide. So I have to make a cigar not too strong, because, you know, the American people, they tend to smoke like very strong. I still want to make like a medium body cigar, but with flavor, a flavorful cigar. That was, I trust I achieved that with this cigar.
Oh, without
very
a
special
doubt.
flavors.
I think he did it.
You did it for sure. I know. For me, I know. Bob, what are your thoughts?
Very good. I enjoy it a lot. I'm a full body cigar smoker, but I would put this right in the medium.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, medium range.
Yep.
But it is a lot of flavor.
Packed with flavor.
Yeah, a lot of flavor.
flavor.
For me, it started off as like a medium cigar. I think it's a little more medium bold towards.
Yeah.
You know, medium plus towards the back on there. But yeah, you do have this nice dark brown San Andreas Maduro wrapper. It's got like a nice light layer of oil on there.
Yep.
It's got a hard construction. It's tightly packed, which is great. And then on the side sniff, you get like this like bold notes of that barnyard hay.
Yep.
And then for me, on the dry foot odor, I actually got like cranberries and raisins.
Interesting. I did get a little bit of that sweetness.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's always eating.
That's from the wrapper.
That's from that wrapper. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's beautiful wrapper.
It is good.
It's gorgeous, actually.
Yeah. There was no spice on the palate when I was popping the head for a nice Colibri V cut. And then the dry draw produced like nice like cocoa and like coffee bean on the dry draw there. I don't know if you guys got that. If you guys did the dry draw.
Yep.
But yeah,
A lot
getting
of
into
salivation on this cigar, I'll tell you
Absolutely.
yeah.
And that's why paired with this beautiful whiskey, you're getting that salivation and then being able to pick up, and it's just so good. I mean, this is
lighting into it immediately. You get like this like burst of like charred dark chocolate,
mm-hmm.
And then like a almost like a chocolate pudding as you get a little more into that first third. I also got some charred fruity raisin notes, more intense chocolate notes. The smoke input and output is excellent. A little bit initially, it was a little bit of a tighter draw, but it does open up as you get through the cigar. And then there's like some nice like vanilla and chocolate swirl that come to the forefront, with some creamy vanilla leatherness and slight char on the spiceless retro hail. Have you guys retroed it yet?
The retro is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
The retro on the cigar,
no spiciness to this cigar at all.
No, I mean that retro is just enhancing the flavor profile throughout.
Yeah,
I get that cinnamon again, that chocolatey cinnamon.
Espresso though, I'm getting espresso out of this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so we'll go to Dave here on the proof and wood. Here we have the cabinet. This is a barrel proof American whiskey. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey into the whiskey world?
Wow, I'll try and keep it short. But I've been in the spirits world for probably 30 years, starting kind of on the bar restaurant side. Then I founded a marketing agency that did mainly beverage clients. We did kind of entertainment-based promotions around the country for big corporate brands like Absolute and Anheuser-Busch and things of that nature. And at some point after that, like any good actor, you think you know how to direct. So I started a couple of spirits ventures, and the first of which was a vodka brand that turned out to be a very expensive learning experience, kind of understanding how the three-tier system in the U.S. works and doesn't work. Suffice to say, make a lot of friends and meet people in the industry along the way. And along the way, I started exploring whiskey, in particular American whiskey. Around 2010, myself and a friend of mine who had just opened a bottling plant in Kentucky decided to venture off and create our own whiskey brand, which turned out to be Redemption Rye, which we started in 2010. And we sold the brand in 2015. Is kind of right on the heels of the growth in American whiskey and interest in American whiskey, and having one of the first and only rye brands available at that point was kind of helpful.
Yeah,
but the quick learning about the whiskey business is the more successful you are, the broker you become. So,
and drunker.
Well, you're laying down whiskey that you're not gonna harvest for years, and believe it or not, the distilleries actually want to be paid for it when you take it. So it gets a little challenging. So we sold that in 2015, and I started Proof and Wood in 2015. Didn't really take a break. Maybe that was a mistake, but clearly I wasn't done, and just wanted to kind of explore American whiskey and some global spirits a little bit more. One of the things is, clearly we don't distill. I source whiskey right now from about 12 different distilleries. The heart of what I've released and what's currently available in bottles is from Indiana, the old Seagram's distillery, currently known as MGP. I've been working with them for almost 15 years. And they make great whiskey, and I've got a really good understanding of the whiskey that they make. So the idea was to create, a nice little portfolio. And the name of the company, Proof and Wood, relates back to kind of what I have control of, what we bottle it at, what ABV proof, as well as how old is it, how long we keep it in the wood. That's the basic idea there.
Gotcha.
How long is that?
I guess it depends on whichever expression, right?
These different blends, how long usually are they being aged for?
It's a great question, and the answer is my favorite. It depends. We have
it's all about
portfolio.
when that distillate peaks in that barrel.
Yeah. Well, there's some of that. When does it peak? And then, just different expressions. And so we have, I guess, the three that I call the American table whiskeys. Good whiskey can drink all day, every day. Starts with our Deadwood bourbon. And that's 75% corn, 21% rye, a little bit of barley, kind of a really classic corn forward mash bill. So that is a straight bourbon, minimum of 2 years old and bottled at 81 proof.
Gotcha.
Really is a really great breakfast bourbon, really good entry level bourbon, good mixing bourbon, inexpensive. It'll cost less than $25 a bottle on the shelf. We take that same whiskey and we age it a minimum 4 years, bottle it barrel proof, and we bottle that as a representative, which is a just full, solid, everything you want bourbon whiskey, which also won the best bourbon in the world at the World Whiskey Awards last year.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
as I like to generally say, all awards are bullshit except when I win. And so we're gonna keep talking about that, even though it was a year ago.
It's all right. You do it, man. You're allowed.
And then we also have our roulette rye, which is 4 years or sometimes 3 at 100 proof.
Wow.
And which is a really great cocktail rye, but it works on its own. But its bigger brother is the Senator, which is a minimum of 6 years and also at barrel proof. Then we've got the Tumbling Dice heavy rye bourbon, which is, it's a bourbon with 36% rye in it. And it, appeals to people who like Bullet and Wild Turkey and things like that. Really cool, complex flavors develop. We do that at 4 years and 100 proof normally, and a lot of single barrel older picks with that. So the cabinet, which we're tasting, is part of our DC series. And the DC series came about in a really great way. Sometimes we talk about, one of the great things about our industry is the people. Some of them are jerks, we know that, but some of them are really awesome. And my distributor in DC in Maryland, good friend, been working with him for almost 15 years. He came to me a bunch of years ago and said, hey, I've lived in DC my whole life. And the one thing about the presidential inauguration, no matter who wins, it's a great party in DC. So can you, to celebrate that, find a 4-year-old whiskey and an 8-year-old whiskey, and we'll call that 1 term and 2 term. Thus the presidential dram was born. And we did a 4-year-old, I think, rye and an 8-year-old bourbon just in DC, and it was a real big success, to the point that the next time around it became a national program. And we're doing it again this year in 2024. Along the way, I had some special releases. One was called the Ambassador, a 12-year-old bourbon, which we used the DC collection. Same kind of style label, red, white, and blue, between the writing on the label and the wax. And then the Justice, which was a 14 and then a 16-year-old Tennessee bourbon. And then kind of evolved out of that, our everyday products are the Representative, the 4-year-old 2 congressional term bourbon, and the Senator, a 6-year-old rye, kind of became the staple. And I like to say, like their namesakes, the Senator and the Representative are always for sale.
They always are.
Very good.
All makes sense now.
It all comes together.
That's as political as we're going to get.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I came across this little bottle when I was just looking at. This was a 25-year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Where is this bottle? I'm like, oh man, that has to be darn good.
And that just means the youngest whiskey in that bottle is 25 years old. So
yeah, it's all this from the same batch.
Okay.
And that's under the Proof and Wood curated collection, really limited. I think we did maybe 1,000 bottles of that total. That was
Wow.
all distilled at the Old Seagram's Distillery in 1992.
Oh,
I-
Wow.
I came
Wow.
across.
Really?
Wow.
Came
I'll take
across-
3.
They're in the mail.
I came across that a couple of years ago, bought it, and it surprised me just how flavorful it was. And it's a American light whiskey, which means it's put in used cooperage and distilled at a really high proof. So it
Gotcha.
actually, like a lot of American bourbons and ryes, if you try them, let's just say 12 years, they start kind of going downhill. There's a point where the age really helps it. And then there's another point, inflection point, I think, where you start getting out of balance between the wood and the spirit.
Gotcha.
And so it might be a wonderful spirit in your glass. You're going to get a lot of luxurious wood notes, but you start losing kind of the underlying spirit that's down there. So you lose the balance, but it could still be fantastic. And then it kind of hits another inflection point where it starts tasting more like dirt, a little over woody, that kind of thing. And there's sometimes that, kind of like an IPA or a peated Scotch. There's sometimes you like, too much wood, but generally we try to focus on things that are balanced. So actually the the 100 Seasons is really cool. A lot of history in that glass. 100 seasons, 25 years old, the history of the distillery. But ultimately, I thought, there was something to one note about it, which I think in the cigar world, I think you guys kind of know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, this is good, but I want some more complexity.
Right.
What I had left of that 25-year-old whiskey and blended it with various bourbons and ryes and created the blend called Vertigo, which is probably the favorite thing. Well, one of the favorites. Cabinet's up there as well. And so Cabinet also, the evolution of that was a lot of fun. That actually came from a request of a retailer in DC who said, "Hey, can you make me a Boo Rye? It's a blend of your bourbons and ryes." And that's what I set out to do. And I lean probably a little heavier towards rye. So I wanted the expression to be more rye than in too balanced that you would lose kind of the nuance of what we're doing in that bottle.
Right.
So it's about 75% rye, 25% bourbon. And the ages, I think, in this bottle are 2014 to 2017. So it's between 5 and 9 years old for the most part in there. We blended it last year. And the rye is all 95% rye, 5% barley, which I find in the 6 to 10 year range of that particular whiskey is a really great balance between the flavor of the wood, the flavor of the spirit. So we blended that till we got the rye right. And then we took about 4 barrels of 75% corn bourbon and 99% corn bourbon to get that bourbon flavor really pronounced through the whiskey. And
whiskey is this is
very good, very good.
really good.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll get into the whiskey a little more. We'll just get into the second third of this cigar before getting to Vicki. And into the second third of the cigar, I get some nuttiness that comes through. The retrohale becomes creamier with notes of like vanilla frosting. I don't know if you guys are getting that a little bit. With a light leatheriness that's still there. There's a nice char that remains on the finish, and it's still like a very like chocolatey smoke. Very chocolatey smoke, and as I did the pairing review at home into the second third, this is when, as Brad Reith would say, that the ash finally fell off with dignity. And then we get some fruity chocolate spice bomb combo on the pairing, which we'll get into a little bit later on. But Vicki, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your whiskey journey and what led you to our whiskey network that we have going on.
Yeah, well, I guess the way I officially landed here was just by sitting next to Mark the editor, at a tasting event, right? So
I'm
we were
so sorry you had to do that.
Cheers, Vicki. Cheers. Salud.
So yeah, we were just chatting, and I can't even remember if it was a Garrison Brothers event. I don't even remember what it was. I know where we were. And we were just a few of us were all there, solo and chatting about this guy's opening a bar and a speakeasy tiki thing and, kind of who is everybody and all that. And I remember him saying that he was a writer and with whiskeynetwork.net, and kind of that was the end of it. And then he reached out to me so many months later and asked if I knew anybody that wrote cocktails or wrote recipes. Like the way he worded it, it almost made me feel like he had people that were developing recipes, but they weren't very good at transcribing them, And so I kind of asked him back and forth a couple of questions, and I had already been doing that myself anyway. I do it all the time. And right about, I guess it was probably just, everything's measured by COVID now, right? So just before COVID, I had joined up to a local whiskey club, actually a Women Who Whiskey chapter in Long Beach here where I live. Oh, nice. And I pride myself on being member 001 because there was no chapter there. And my friend, President Stacy, was trying to get a chapter in Long Beach because she had come from LA. And LA to San Diego, as you gentlemen all know, is a very long distance. And so I was pestering at the founder, Julia, out of New York, about, you can't go to San Diego and LA if you live in the middle. That's crazy. And so at the same time, Stacy was trying to get in. And so, boom, she was given a chapter. And so I call myself member 001. And we've got a bartender here down where we live who's opened many bars, Emily DeLise. She's amazing. And she calls herself the Shrub Queen. And so we were, having some cocktails with her one day. And I've always, cooked a lot at home. I'm always experimenting. I'm not afraid of any of that and not afraid to fail, And so I learned about making shrubs. And that kind of brought me further forward into whiskey and not so much tequilas as far as being a tequila nerd, but understanding the strength of the spirit to hold up to the ingredients that are paired with it, right? So if you think vodka, you're always going to do a Cosmo, that's super easy. And of course, vodka is versatile because vodka is supposed to taste like nothing, but understanding gins and whiskeys and tequilas and how they hold up to more flavorful ingredients. And when you're making shrubs, vinegar is a component. And you put that with vodka and all you're going to taste is the vinegar. You put it with something else and it marries. So I'm about these strong flavors that are challenging each other in a glass, right? To make them just a little bit more fun, elevated, more interesting. And I had already been doing that. And then, sometimes I was good about writing them down, taking photos. Sometimes I was lazy, but I was never really trying to do it in a professional way, right? But I've been a photographer as a hobbyist, a prosumer, if you will. And I've done graphic design as a prosumer and a little bit as a salesperson for work. And so kind of I have all of the components ready to go. I just never put them all together before. So now I do. I will do the photography. I will do the cocktail. I will write the recipe. I put a funny little quip, as I like to say, together about it. I am not interested in being a blogger that wants to write you a novel about what I just created. I find that terribly uninteresting.
So not like Joey.
Not like Joe.
Hold on, Joe. Let me stand here. There you go. I did it just for Kyle's sake.
That's the recipe. Nobody wants that about a recipe. Writing an article is a completely different story. I think if I'm looking for a recipe, I don't want to read an article first. I just want the damn recipe.
Right.
So that's it. And I know I've learned, you can hit that jump to recipe button and skip all the nonsense. But yeah, I think if you're trying to say something interesting about it, you can get it done in a paragraph for a cocktail. Come on.
Yeah.
And what's great about doing cocktails is put something together, dream something up on your own. Look in your kitchen, see what you've got. And if it's terrible, it costs you 5 minutes and a handful of ingredients. You didn't just wait for that cake to bake for an hour and frost it and make all the different and everything. So I find that it's more fun. It's easier to be creative. It's absolutely no big deal. If you fail, they're easy to tweak. You think, this is good, but not amazing. You can make 3 different versions of it immediately and see what's better, what's worse. And so I feel like it's something that I've always done to some degree. And then now I just, package it up pretty and put it online for Whiskey Network.
Excellent.
Right. We just celebrated our 4-year anniversary at Whiskey Network. We're glad to have you on board, Vicki. I've read some of your your cocktail recipes are excellent. You do good work, so we're appreciative to have you on board. You're nothing but an asset to us. So yeah, we'll go to some sponsorship. We'll come back. We'll get more into
Wait a minute. Two things.
Yeah.
Mark asked Vicki, she was supposed to tell the other story.
Oh, what's the other story?
So what is the other story that Mark is talking about, Vicki? This is what I've been very concerned with here.
Well, I'm quite sure we're not going to talk about dirty laundry.
Is that the other story?
He'll have to ping me on my phone to give me the other story, or he's just teasing and baiting all of you, and you fell for it.
We probably did. Ronnie did.
Go with the baiting.
Ronnie did.
Yes, it's got my mind. I'm just sitting here.
Mark tends to be a masturbator, so.
Okay, that story's over. Everybody hit the share button. Let's get this show out to everyone, and let's go to our next sponsors.
Another day in paradise, slanging cigars. Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand grown from a love for cigar culture and a respect for the artisanship behind the craft. We are a minority-owned family business based in Orlando, Florida. Our current collection delivers 3 exclusive lines: the Black Moses, Magic Stick, All Pro Series featuring Leon Searcy's signature cigar and Ike Taylor's one-of-a-kind, and the newly released Perfect Round featuring 18 cigars, a front 9 and a back 9. Visit our website at www.howardgcigars.com. You can find a full list of our retail partners there too. Thank you for making us part of your humidor. DAV Cigars out of New York. Decades of experience combined with true love and deep understanding of cigars result in the highest of standard of each DAV hand-rolled cigar.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes, we grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands.
At Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco, we specialize solely in the finest hand-rolled, craft, and boutique cigars on the market. Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco is sure to have something that will excite you. Shop our online humidor at www.mountainsmokewv.com.
A family of 4 generations in tobacco. It started in Odense, Denmark, 141 years ago, 1882, with a factory and a retail store by Eric Peter Stokeby. 4th Generation is a premium quality brand consisting of a selection of tin and loose tobaccos made in Denmark, pipes made of the finest quality briar, and superior accessories from leather goods, lighters, and pipe tools. The selection of 4th Generation products are available in premium pipe and cigar stores in the US and many European countries. Check out 4thGenPipeTobacco.com.
We're back.
And coming back to Stefan. Stefan, I get kind of geeked out about the bands when I do these articles. Can you explain to us a little bit more about this band and what this emblem is here on the?
Sure, that's our family crest on the emblem. That's our family one. We got it 1675.
And that's where the number came from, 1675.
Yes, because then our family got it from the government. It's a very old family. I looked it up. Everything is written in the book of the churches. That's how I found out. That's why 1675 we got the family crest. That's why I put the year below it.
Nice, very nice, very nice.
That's Austrian.
Actually, the family is called. I usually say Austria or Switzerland because the family originally is from Liechtenstein. That's like a country.
Yes.
Yes. Nobody knows that. Like 30,000 people. It's between Switzerland and Austria, like a very small country, 30,000 people.
Yeah, Liechtenstein.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a castle there, right?
There's
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, Bob, you helped build it,
Bob
right?
was one of the builders.
He was one of the masons.
He was a mason. Yeah.
How could you forget?
I didn't.
So now, Stefan. Ooh,
Whoa, what's that?
It was just
Somebody whistling.
Sonar. We just dive.
We've been pinged. We've been pinged.
I think Switzerland came in. They're a neutral country here and there.
So I have a question, Stefan. I was what the materials that I was reading. You had one of the cigar factories that you were working with. You had worked with one of the daughters of that factory, and her name happened to be Indiana.
Yeah.
Indy.
But
Like Indiana Jones. You know?
I found Indiana and the whiskey that Dave has been creating has been coming out of Indiana. So I think it's interesting that there's that connection to Indiana.
So there's the pairing.
There you go.
There's the pairing right there.
I fully intended that, Frank. So
you did intend that?
Back home again in Indiana.
And what was your process like for coming up with this blend?
So I was always looking into getting on the market a Maduro cigar because I have like Connecticut, I have Habano, but I never had like a Maduro. That cigar, I went to Nicaragua to the factory. I told them, look, I want to have a Maduro with a San Andres wrapper, as dark as possible, but still sweetness. We got the blend. We launched it first in the US because the US is looking for Maduros. In Europe, they are not so much looking for Maduros because they think a Maduro is super strong because of the Cuban tradition, which is not true. A Maduro can be also like as this one, a medium body, and doesn't have to be like necessarily a full body cigar. So that was my goal to achieve, like also to educate the people in Europe. Look, if you have a Maduro, it doesn't mean it has to be super strong just because of the dark wrapper.
Interesting, yeah.
Very good.
Excellent.
People who've been watching, they have smoked your Connecticut and they are raving. They're giving you some good talk about that.
I had a chance to smoke it. It's
you did?
excellent. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yep. Has that come out yet? Is it out?
Yeah, Don Patron.
Okay.
That's out. It's my second blend. Joe loves it.
Not that one. You're new. You came out with like a newer Connecticut, didn't you?
The newer one. I mean, our latest one is the Limitada for PCA. We just released, but we have one also from Nicaragua. It's a Connecticut one. It has a Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, binder filler Nicaragua. That's the Rojo, Edición Rojo called, the red line. That's what we have. Yeah, but our latest release, right.
Vicki, how are you enjoying the smoke? How are you enjoying the cigar? I know you're kind of like a newer to the cigar world here.
But as a newbie,
what are your thoughts?
Afraid, right? I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I agree with everything that you're saying about it. You know, the flavors, the fact that it's all I can really say is, you know, what I've experienced other people smoking around me, you know, and it seems like there's nothing offensive about it. There's nothing pungent about it. It's not bitter, which I don't even know if I'm using the right terminology, but that's how it seems to me. So
that's perfect.
I appreciate the color. Also, funny enough, I had a ridiculously amazing tobacco cocktail so many years ago. They had tobacco washed the whiskey, and then they did a very fine shaving of tobacco leaf on top. And so for everybody out there, I will say you have to be very careful. It is difficult to find, but you must use a food grade tobacco leaf. It is a big deal, and there is definitely a difference. So you can't just go around unwrapping your cigars and making cocktails. You shouldn't do that.
Okay, I'll stop doing that. I'll stop doing that immediately.
What I do in my house.
Joe just drops his cigar in the cocktail, and then he smokes the cigar. It's a little wet. Joe doesn't see any problem.
What was that, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's already been lit, there's probably too many carcinogens. You probably shouldn't drink the
And Vicki froze.
Oh, she's froze.
We lost her.
Well, it's 63
Frozen.
degrees in San Diego, so
Yeah,
she
it's not
can't
cold.
see her freezing.
California must be
Obviously
going through
something
a
there, right?
brownout.
So
Oh, she's back.
I have
Oh.
some things, right? So I mean, it's windy here. What can I do? So I have also, what's
Woke.
interesting to me, what I don't, so here, this is a good question for a whiskey person officially. So when you are purchasing a cigar blend or a cigar rye, like I recently did, why are we calling it a cigar blend or a cigar rye? Is that something it's supposed to stand up especially well to cigars? Is it supposed to have cigar notes? You're supposed to feel like you've got tobacco notes in the cigar blend, cigar rye whiskeys. Why is that? What's happening there?
I mean,
I like, for example, like the Joseph Magnus cigar blend. I'm gonna say the blender, and I forget her name. I should know her name because
Nancy Fraley.
Nancy. Yes, thank you very much.
Let him answer the question.
That's
Let me
very like
answer, Joey.
Yeah, it's just something about those blends that just pair excellently with cigars, whether it's like the proof, the whiskey that goes into the bottle itself. They're just like the boldness of the flavors or the contrasting flavors with tobacco notes. But yeah, there are a lot of cigar blends out there that some of them are typically like on the sweeter side to basically counter the heavier tobacco notes for like some nice balance. So that's my take on those cigar blends. I know a lot of them are doing like that new like Ambarana cask and calling them a cigar blend because they're typically on like the sweeter side. You get like those nice like French toast, like sweet syrupy notes, and then you add in the you add in the cigar, and it's just delicious.
I
So
think
their goal is just to pair it excellently with a cigar.
Yeah, I think you could argue that any good whiskey is going to pair excellently with a cigar. But I
Absolutely.
think while I've never released a cigar blend, truth be told, I'm working on one.
Wow.
And there's an element of marketing about it, and it's two levels. I think the first level is it signifies it's a special blend.
Right.
So it's probably going to be limited, and hopefully the brand that you're buying from has done their job. There are certain notes that I think do pair well universally with cigars, but again, a good cigar and a good whiskey, I could probably make an argument of why I paired those two together, no matter what the details are. Sometimes I'll want to pair a heavy cigar with a lighter whiskey, but sometimes I want them to be kind of more complementary. That I'll drink a heavy whiskey with a heavy cigar.
Right.
It kind of depends on my mood. So I think it's kind of tricky when we try to kind of put it into a perfect world. But again, if we smoke good cigars and drink good whiskey, we're bound to get a
You're already ahead of the game. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing this I've been pairing cigars and whiskey for the magazine for probably about almost 3 years at this point. But generally speaking, if you have a well-developed palate for the cigars and the whiskey, in either direction, whether you're going cigar to the whiskey or whiskey to the cigar, something interesting is going to happen if you have that developed palate to extract those cool flavor changes that are going on, those transitions that are happening. So, but again, it does take a while for you to get your palate going, especially on the whiskey side. It took me about 5 years. So
my cigar blend is going to feature
and the cigar
some rum finished whiskey, a lot of rye. But we'll get there in a couple of months.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh,
very good.
All right.
Sounds exciting.
So into the final third of the cigar, I get those sweeter notes, Stefan. Definitely, like that nice charred chocolate pudding is still there. Just sweeter and creamier going into that final third. The retrohale remains spiceless the entire time. You guys agree?
Totally.
Absolutely.
So
But
like
into the
much
final
flavor.
third, it's picking up in intensity a little bit.
Intensity.
Yes.
Building up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Flavor is
this
definitely more pronounced, but I still got the cocoa espresso all the way down. That hasn't changed for me.
Yeah, no.
This is like the perfect like Robusto to like round off like a really good meal.
Yeah.
Because it does start to kick you in the butt a little bit towards the back end. So you definitely want to eat before you smoke this.
Yeah. And a good, whether it's a good steak, a good burger, something nice and meaty, because with both, it really is going to enhance that experience. We had some ground beef.
We had some nice
burritos.
steak and
so it was definitely is pairing nicely, Joe.
I think everything pairs with a big ass burrito, though. To be fair,
asking is better to have a cocktail or straight with the cigar.
That would be a personal preference. I mean, if you're into cocktails, or if you're into sipping whiskey neat, that would be a personal preference, definitely.
Yeah, it depends on the cocktail.
Me personally, I'm into sipping the whiskeys neat and pairing it directly with the cigar.
I mean, there's really no right or wrong answer to that. I mean, it's either one. Right. And then you could even do coffees, cappuccinos, espressos. Right. I mean, it's anything.
It depends on the cocktail. You don't want to have something that's like on the sweeter side, because that kind of like really interferes with your palate. You know, you can have like a nice Manhattan or a Rob Roy or an old fashioned. I think those are very complimentary cocktails to a good cigar.
Spirit forward cocktail, either neat or a spirit forward cocktail, not a margarita.
No. Although we had a couple of those before dinner too.
Well, Mark just said, Clay, a well-made cocktail with the right flavors will pair well. Straight always works.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, he's absolutely correct. That's true.
And back into the whiskey a little bit. All these expressions that I've had from Proof Butter are excellent. My personal favorite is going to be between the cabinet here and that Representative Rye. Dave, what are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? Again, there are no wrong answers there.
Yeah, right. Okay, so getting into the pairing a little bit here. When we pair the cigars, we go cigar to whiskey, then whiskey to cigar. We reverse it. And I've also recently added doing the cigar smoked whiskey, which is where something really cool and interesting happens with this particular pairing. When you're pairing this cigar to the whiskey, the chocolatey char of the cigar melts away to fruity cinnamon infused pecan pie. Doused in creamy vanilla frosting on the finish. It's absolutely delicious. And I say this Lampert cigar, it's simply like a chocolate bomb cigar that I love. When we reverse it up, we go whiskey to cigar. You hold that delicious caramel spice whiskey on the palate. That fruity and vanilla spice notes really develop before merging perfectly with the chocolate leather notes of the cigar. And then for those of you who don't know, we do the thanks, Kyle.
Look at that.
We go ahead and we just add some cigar smoke right to, and the Glencairn holds it excellently. We get big cherry and strawberry fruitiness emerges with big notes of charred vanilla on the finish, which is very, very incredible. It's an incredible pairing. Vicki, what are your thoughts on this pairing so far?
Yeah, well, definitely on the whiskey itself, stone fruits, dried cherry, definitely allspice. Yep. On the nose, orange. I was getting up front like a candied orange for sure.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, if they're both good, obviously they're going to pair. So that's hard to miss there, right? But it was funny, being primarily whiskey, not cigar person. I thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't you want to naturally have your whiskey first? Because isn't the cigar going to blow out your palate? I thought, but that's because I'm not a cigar smoker. So it didn't. I was surprised that you really can put that cigar down and a minute later almost be like you didn't have that flavor in your mouth. Oh, and I would also say on the cigar, specifically dark chocolate, not just chocolate.
Yes. Right.
There's a big
absolutely.
Big difference. Yeah. Definitely dark chocolate.
100%.
See, you're already a cigar pro. There you go.
There it is. Yeah.
One cigar is already better than you. He's got a better palate than you.
Hey, that proves that women have the better palate no matter what.
Absolutely.
It's always there.
Dave,
Well,
did
and
you
that,
have a
and that
question?
always comes back. It always comes back because we've been dealing with that for, generations and back to caveman days, right? We're the ones that were cooking. We're the ones that were dealing with ingredients. I mean, just naturally, if you believe in any of that pulling forward through your genes, it just makes sense that women are more able to, clue those things out and make sure that you don't poison your family with some rando berry that your caveman husband brought home, right? Or
She's
poison
talking
them if you want to.
Bob,
I mean,
she's
maybe on
talking,
purpose.
Bob, she's talking about your caveman days.
I know. Do you like your brontosaurus meat with a lot of garlic, or how do you prepare it?
Exactly. So yeah, I'm sure plenty of people died, by accident, eating things that they shouldn't. So yes, and you relied on your mom, chef, cook, domestic maker. back
People
then.
died by
Everybody was dead and alive. Exactly.
Kyle, any
Hold
thoughts
on
on
one second.
the? Yeah.
Dave, by any chance, is your whiskey available in Virginia at the ABC stores? We're getting a question from Clay, who lives in Virginia. He's very interested in checking this out.
Clay needs to take a little journey to Washington, D.C. We're not in a lot of control states. They're very difficult to work with, especially for smaller brands, unfortunately. But
Is
plenty of
shipping
places in
limited to
the
control
Maryland area.
Maryland,
Is
okay.
shipping limited to control states? Because we have all these online retailers now that will ship to so many states. Is that still
Yeah, we are available online. I can't answer specifically if you can ship to Virginia, but I think you can.
Okay, beautiful.
Is it available
Thanks for
here in
answering that.
Florida?
Is it available in Florida?
Yeah.
You know,
We are distributed in Florida. Our distributor is kind of small. We're not everywhere, but anyone can reach out to me, and we could always make something happen.
Okay. Perfect.
okay, very good.
All right.
Beautiful.
Kyle, did you have some thoughts on what you're getting on the pairing?
No, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with everything. I mean, I've had, the dark chocolate cocoa notes, like a little bit of coffee notes going through it. But even as I get later into the final third, going into the whiskey again, it's almost making like the whiskey get like a slight citrus back end to it when it's coming through.
That's that fruitiness I was talking about. And the whiskey alone, I get like a lot of like vanilla, like pecan sweetness, and definitely that oakiness on the finish. It's very delicious. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And Stefan doesn't have any bourbon where he's at. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Stefan, how
it's
about
all right.
Where can
cruise
you
ship,
US cigars?
Cruise ship gets into port,
Stefan, how someone here that's listening and their brick and mortar doesn't have it, how can they get hold of your cigars?
So if it's a brick and mortar, they can reach out to USA at Lampertcigars.com, or if they already have an account with Sutliff, based in Virginia, that's our fulfillment partner, reach out to them.
Oh, okay. Sutliff handles it.
Sutliff does. Great.
Jeremy handles that, huh?
Jeremy does.
Okay, very good.
Oh,
we work with Sutliff. Great fulfillment partner. Really happy.
Great people to be
Wonderful.
partnered with.
Yes.
Yeah. Great
Very
group.
good.
Great group.
All right, excellent pairing. The article will publish the first week. What month are we in?
April, handsome.
April. I've had too much proof in wood. So the article will come out first week in April. So stay tuned for that, and we'll continue to celebrate at Whiskey Network for our 4-year anniversary.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
Well, what's going to happen now, Frank? What's everybody holding on for? For the best part of the segment here that's coming
What's
up.
going to happen though before we even get into that? I mean,
what is going to happen? So always, this is the part of the show where it's kind of like fan appreciation. We'll call
that's a good way of putting it,
right? It's a way for us to give back, a way for our guests to give products out. It's a way for people to. People always like to get things in the mail, especially when it doesn't cost them anything.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And we do a little trivia at this point in the show. And it used to be our mascot was
Joey.
Joe. and this is when Joey looked and sounded a lot like this.
A lot better.
And it used to be the truce, as we say in Italian, the donkey, which is the hardest working animal on the planet. It really is. It's been doing farming. It's been carrying the load on its back for so long. But
chasing wolves off the farm.
Chasing wolves off the farm. I mean, it's
that's pretty important.
It is. It's really important.
Chasing old ladies on a Sunday.
Oh, yes, of course.
And
personality. It's all good.
It is.
Absolutely.
And the segment used to be called Stump the Chooch, but it's been kind of, the Chooch was retired in a way.
Chooch got old.
Got old.
Got
old. And
he's not able to kick like he used to.
He didn't.
Yeah.
And so now
he wasn't really paying his part either.
He wasn't paying his fair share.
Yeah? I don't think so, huh?
No. So we partnered with a gentleman, and I'll call him a gentleman, but you can see what happened. So now it's
watching that video, Frank, I'm just realizing that doesn't explain fucking anything.
It's time to play. This is a trivia game.
The Chooch is now on 2 legs instead of 4. It grows a lot more hair.
So now it's been taken over by Soccer Squatch, and it's trivia. So when we come back, Joe, what do we have for the lucky winner tonight? We have a bottle. Let me look at Joey, what he showed.
A bottle.
A bottle
of
of
bottle.
Wow.
Nice. Cabinet.
Wow.
A bottle cabinet.
Slightly used.
Slightly used.
And whoever the lucky winner is, I'm going to order up a nice sampler pack of Zeal cigars.
Nice.
Maybe
nice.
Stefan, maybe you could throw in a sampler pack of Lampert.
Sure.
Ronnie,
I can throw in an ashtray if you want to have an ashtray or cigars. Let me know.
Wow. Okay.
Fantastic.
Wow. There you go.
That is
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Awesome. All the way from Panama.
Thank you.
What we'll do is we'll have 2 winners. We'll have the winner that gets all that great stuff, the Lampert ashtray, sampler, Zeal, the bottle of cabinet, and we'll have another winner. Ron, what do you think?
What do you think?
We'll have a second.
They get nothing?
Well, no, we'll have a second winner.
Oh, okay.
And a second winner today is going to get their choice of a Dumbarton tobacco hat. Beautiful, nice. Beautiful. Very nice, Ron. And some cigars, I'm assuming, because that's what we give out here. And a couple of cigars from Steve and Dumbarton Tobacco. So
yes, we can.
This is what I call fan appreciation. You got a sobremesa. So you've got great things. So people are getting ready and they want to win this. We'll give away 2 winners. So when we come back right after these words from our amazing sponsors.
Wow.
Yeah, we're pretty nice, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Too nice.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller Cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines: the Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, the Art of Magic.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP Cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back-to-back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Bovita 2-way humidification.
All begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our 2 major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
Here we are.
And
we're back.
Are back, folks. We are back.
Hey, before you guys start, I need to make a statement here from Mr. Mark. He said, the answer to the first question is Ronnie is the most handsome and smartest host on the planet. Now that man is intelligent.
You gotta wonder what show he's actually watching though.
My head just went like this. Okay, thank you.
Oh my God!
Wow! I think
hey,
Mark,
Frank and Bob, you should take that as almost a compliment because you guys look almost as good as me.
Oh my God!
Don't worry about it.
What an insult that is!
Wow! So I love history. So the questions that I'm going to ask right now are to our audience right here in the studio.
Oh, okay.
In the studio.
Studio
audience. Our studio audience. So, Stefan, you're an attorney. I expect you to do well. Dave, I expect you to do pretty well too. Vicki?
Vicki's going to do excellent. Don't worry about it.
Is it a cooking question? Is it a cooking question? Ingredients?
A cooking question, Frank. Hurry up.
She won. Question, right?
No, but
what is Thompson versus Smith in 1962?
So, on this date in history in 1894, folks, this company begins selling 1894. This company begins its first bottles sales in Vicksburg, Mississippi. First bottle sales of this major Vicksburg.
Was that Vicks Vapor Rub?
No, that's not Vicks Vapor Rub. Okay. As you can tell, that's a chooch answer. That's why we
Coca-Cola. I'm going to say Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola is a correct answer. Coca-Cola. 1894. First bottles of Coke hit the door.
All right.
So, they wound up being pretty successful.
What was the slogan?
Chris Cutler had the answer right after that.
What was the slogan? The original slogan for Coca-Cola.
Bob wants to know what was the original.
What was the original slogan for Coca-Cola?
Cures what ails you.
No. Because they had a certain a certain
ingredient
element in Coca-Cola.
It's for medicinal purposes.
It was get a lift from Coke because they had cocaine in Coca-Cola.
That was good Coke.
Yep. Get a
lift from Coke. Believe it or not, that was the slogan.
I don't believe
Bob
that.
actually had the very first bottle.
No. Bob had a poster. It was red and it had cocaine. Remember that one, Bob?
I remember it.
Wow.
But that was actually their slogan in the early days. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a chooch question.
That is. You answered your own.
I gave it and I answered it.
Wow. So here's a good one. I don't know if you'll get this, Bob. I don't think you're up on this kind of news, though. So in 2012, this date in history, This musical artist beat Adele and Lady Gaga to be named the highest earning pop artist of 2011. Who was this?
Say that again. Who named it?
No.
Who named it?
No, not who named it. Who?
What artist?
Tony
What
Bennett.
artist? Tony Bennett is a wrong answer. Wrong answer.
Gaga.
Number one selling pop artist in 2000, highest earning in 2011.
Gaga.
No, beat Adele and Gaga.
Oh, beat Adele. And
Bob doesn't listen. You see, that's what happens with.
I was asking a
It's
question.
called earwax.
Gaga?
Yeah, no.
Pink.
Believe it or not, the
It was Swift and Kelsey.
22-year-old Taylor Swift at that point.
Wow.
Oh, no shit.
$35,719,902.68.
Those are woke dollars, right?
Wow. I did not know this. I did not know this.
I didn't know she went back that far. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Wow.
know. She was only 22.
And
Wow.
your life is so much richer now for knowing that.
Oh,
fact.
absolutely. Oh, my God.
Well, like
was.
our sister-in-law Cathy says, useless information.
Yes, it is.
All right. This one's going to be, let's do this question, Joey, for the, I'm going to wait for the bottle. Is going to be the last question. How's that? The bottle and the cigars and the ashtray, that'll be the last one. Let's do this question for our audience and the Saka Dunbarton items. How's that sound, Ron?
All right.
So the hat and the cigar.
The hat and cigars. Why don't we
Okay.
do that?
Hold on. I got to get a piece of paper to write this down. Oh, Teresa's got it. Okay. There
Teresa,
you go.
He's got his secretary too.
Thank
Absolutely.
God.
It always helps.
Yes, because I don't have to go back and look at the show all over again and find the winners to go to the post office. Yes.
All righty. So here's the question. Anybody's got the music cued? Ronnie's too busy being comfortable. He doesn't have. He doesn't
Kyle's
know
there.
music.
He's got it.
Kyle's there. Okay, here
Kyle's
you go.
got
folks.
Jeopardy.
I don't
Here's
have
the-
nothing.
Here's the
Nothing?
guy.
Okay. Hold on. All right. You don't have it.
Hold on a second here.
Is the train horn part of the question?
The question
go.
is going to be, it's going to be a visual question that has a question on it. So this way people can read and then answer. How's that sound? I make it easy for people.
I thought you stopped doing that.
You're going soft in your age.
I am. I'm
Yeah, really?
very soft. But here
Whiskey
you go.
knowledge for 800, please, Bob.
And Dave's got the answer. No talking.
All right, folks.
In
In Steve's opinion, what drives Lancero junkies? What drives a Lancero junkie?
Okay, let's see what we got.
Drive a Lancero junkie.
A Chevy?
The Chevy.
Easy, Bob. This is for the audience.
No. This is not flavor.
Quiet, guys. This is for the audience.
Again, family and friends cannot win.
Not-
off
No,
the
they
show.
can't.
Exactly, Teresa. So you can answer, but you won't
Doesn't
win.
matter. She ain't going to win.
And since Steve is putting out this large 10-pack of Lanceros, I would think people would want to know what that is.
They got Richard flavor.
No, it's not flavor. It's not flavor.
Clay, quick smoke. Larry, income. Orlando, the size.
No, it's not the size. It's not the size for that junkie.
It's not the size that matters.
It's not the size that matters.
You shouldn't have brought that up, Joe.
It's not the beat, it's the motion.
Wow. What's this?
Looking for an adult film star?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wait, contact Stormy Monday over there.
Length of time to smoke.
I love these answers. Sometimes they're great.
Wow.
My
My
ex-wife's always
ex-wife
told me
me.
it's not the size that matters.
Okay. That's
Notice-
why she's
notice
she's your ex.
Wives.
All right, Dan, the flavor. We had that
No.
already. Michael says
Small brown thing in mouth. No, that's wrong, Steve. Good check.
what about Michael? What is he saying there?
He says contrarian behavior. No. No.
Oh.
All right, Orlando.
Oh, wait a minute. Chris Cotier says rareness. Could rareness of the Lancero be the answer? Huh? Could that be the answer?
Rareness, huh?
Let's take Chris off of there. Let's do this. Interesting. It is rareness.
Rareness. Congratulations.
Rareness.
Yeah.
Because, yes, it's, you know why? You don't see as many on the shelf. They're not out there because they're not as big a seller. They're, as Steve likes to say, it's a pain in the ass. He calls it a pain in the ass, and it's to put out there. So, but it's the rareness is what really what he believes drives the Lancero junkie.
Interesting.
Yeah, rareness.
Well, Chris says he really wanted to wait for the last question. Then why didn't you? Why did you answer? And I mean, I don't understand, Chris.
Can he win twice? Can he win twice?
He can.
No.
If he's lucky.
You know,
he's lucky.
only because he's a loyal listener.
That's right.
I think we'll allow it because he's on every week. And he wins almost every week.
All right.
He's
This
pissing
one
Bruce
is
and
for
Orlando
all the
off.
marbles.
This is for everything.
This is for all the marbles.
Daniel from Canada has just checked in.
Ah.
Well, we don't ship to Canada.
We don't ship to Canada. we can't ship out of country.
That's it.
Yeah.
Take it up with your custom agents.
Yes, Orlando is our loyal loser. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Here you go.
Any day now.
Whenever you want.
Now you need to jeopardy.
When
Come on.
did Americans start drinking whiskey?
Last night.
The day they made it.
I feel that's a trick question.
That's a trick
Something
question.
to it. Let's see the answer.
That's a good one.
1791.
Look at Colin. He really wants to win this stuff.
Well, hold it. The one in front of Will.
Will
Mahoney.
Will beat him.
Mahoney.
Will beat him.
Will Mahoney.
Will
beat
Mahoney
him.
came in.
Oh, Colin, you were close.
Colin
it was a neck and neck.
I mean, it was neck and neck.
22 seconds.
1791. Whiskey begins in Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. It was the Eastern United States in 1791 when whiskey started its journey into the glasses of America.
Beautiful.
Congratulations, Will. That's awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah, buddy.
A little bit
And
faster.
probably on the boat before they got here, frankly.
It was, yeah, they drank on the boat, but they didn't count that. They didn't count that.
That's why I was like,
Bob
when
was
you
the very
start
first
counting,
master
you
distiller.
know.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, please PM me your address so we can get the bottles to you, buddy.
And all that good
Bottle,
stuff.
the cigars, the ashtray.
And all that
Man,
fun stuff.
That's a great package right there.
Yeah, so we
Great
got to
package.
get it down to Panama so he can send it out of Panama. And I think his post office is faster than ours.
Yeah, the Canadian, the Panamanian mail is quicker than Ronnie's mail.
Oh,
Absolutely. I'm a snail. Hey, I went yesterday. I got all the packages out to everybody. We're up to
Wow,
Bob.
so
Only
people from
tonight.
2019 finally got their package?
18, Bob. 18, Bob. Who's counting?
Better late than never.
Anyway, guys, it was fabulous. We thank you for coming on board and dealing with us. Thanks for Joey. I appreciate it, Joey. That's been awesome. Really
Great pairing, guys.
A great
Get on it.
pairing. I don't know
Get
how
on
you
it.
came up with it and how you put the whiskey and the cigar together on it, but that's
the magic
awesome.
of Whiskey
Thanks for
Network.
the treats.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I hope you had a good time. Appreciate it. And how can we get your, I guess we kind of said it earlier, but Frank, is there a way you could put their websites on for our listeners to order?
Sure. You've got Proof and Wood. You want more information, you got to get over to the proofandwood.com. Lampert, go over to Lampertcigars.com. You'll get all that great information there, and you get that, and you can, email Stefan directly there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And
accepts all email.
to reach Bob, it's going to be grannypanty.com.
There you go. Right after you arrest them.
All righty. Well, everybody, again, thank you so much. And we will be back next week with Mr. Luciano of Luciano Cigars.
Nice.
And again, everybody, please, if you can, find the way, support Zeal Cigars, and remember bread.
You know what, Ron? I think we should end with that little tribute since people weren't on when we played that.
Why don't we put that on one more time for everybody?
And then we'll go to the credits right after that. How's that?
Sounds good.
I think that's awesome. Folks, hold on, please, and watch this tribute to Brad.
We're smoking these cigars, and we're talking about an important detail. I think it's important for all of us to discuss, but we're talking about death and how men deal with death. When death knocks, and it's going to knock for all of us, and we're all going to lose people, how you deal with death as a man can impact greatly those people around you, and to be emotionally available, emotionally mature, and strategic about your grief as a man can really go a long way in serving the people around you. Just talking about it's got you got bags under your eyes, man.
Well, yeah. But but I know where that grandpa is spiritually,
right?
And I know where he is in his life. Like that's the grandpa that's like you, bro. That's like, if I die coming home from church, at least I went to church Sunday,
right?
And you're like, if I die on my motorcycle, at least I die with a full heart, bro.
Exactly.
You know, so and that's kind of his mentality.
Now, keep this in mind. Just because somebody passes, and it says this in the Bible, it says we don't grieve as those people who don't have hope. We do have hope. I believe he's with Jesus. I believe he's in heaven, and finally his faith is made sight, if you would, as it says in scriptures. And I'm very, very, very excited about that. But there's a very big hole that it leaves when you know somebody's no longer here on this earth. Make sure you have a good theological outlook on what happens when you die. That the person that you know is not necessarily here anymore, and they're not in this bodily form, but they're with the Lord, or they're with the, they've gone on to their reward, particularly if they've had faith in Christ. For the Cut Light and Smoke podcast, I've been Bradley, he's been JB. You're out of here like last year. Peace.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I feel its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful.